If you would have told 23-year-old me that within just a couple of years I would own a 17-acre farm in the middle of Indiana, raising my own livestock, growing my own food, and spending my days doing things I never even knew how to do, I probably would have thought you were crazy. Because honestly, I didn't really grow up knowing anything about farming. I'm a first-generation homesteader. I didn't inherit a farm. I didn't grow up around livestock. The most I've probably ever done was hold a bunny at the state fair. I didn't really have somebody teaching me how to do this. And actually, just a few years ago, I was working a completely different lifestyle. So today I'm going to share with you guys how I ended up homesteading, why I decided to completely change my life around, how I was able to actually afford this lifestyle, and what the last 2 years of homesteading have really been like. Because honestly, I think social media can make this lifestyle look really perfect, and I want to show you what it's actually been like for me. So back in 2022, I was actually struggling pretty bad financially. I was working a 9-to-5 as an insurance agent, and I was honestly miserable. I knew I didn't want to work a 9-to-5 forever. I wanted a lot more, and I wanted financial freedom and freedom with my own time. So I started researching ways to make money online. And at the time, remote jobs were becoming really popular, so I started making TikToks just teaching people this stuff, how to find remote jobs, how to do side hustles, and completely unexpectedly, my account blew up. Within just a few months, I gained over 50,000 followers on TikTok. And from that moment, my entire life changed. I started getting a brand deal, and at that moment, I quit my job within the first month of getting my brand deals. It was honestly pretty stupid, but I had a vision and I had a dream, and I knew this would take off. And with this brand deal, they were paying me more than my 9-to-5 by only just making a few videos a month. I had no backup plan. I didn't even know what I was doing. I knew I just wanted to make content. So for the next few months, I tried basically everything. I started blogging, I started drop shipping, I sold digital products, and honestly, it was so exhausting. I started feeling burnt out really quick. But then I had someone reach out to me and invite me into a TikTok program for people with 50,000 followers. It was called TikTok's Creative Challenge, and I was told you could make tons of money in this program. Some people were even making like $40,000 a month or more. I thought it was a scam, but I signed up anyway, and that is what completely changed everything. Within a few months, I went from making around 10,000 bucks a month to 15,000, and then just 5 months into this program, I made $30,000 in a single month. That was insane to me. I finally got to travel to Hawaii. I finally got to do things I actually wanted to do. I had never seen that kind of money my entire life. I grew up in poverty, so this was something I did not expect. So instead of blowing this money, I basically did the opposite. I saved, I worked a lot. There were days I was spending 16 hours filming, editing, scripting, and uploading ads. And at one point, I was making hundreds of ads every single month for multiple brands. It was exhausting work, but it was so rewarding. So for those next 2 years, I just kept grinding and doing ads. I really didn't know what I was saving for yet, but I knew that this kind of opportunity does not come around often. So I just locked in and started saving. And this is where the story takes kind of a turn, because I always thought that if I ever had enough money, I would definitely travel the world. And I still want to travel the world. But at the same time, I had this completely opposite side of me that wanted to completely disappear in the country. I wanted land, I wanted animals, I want to grow food, and I just want to slow down. And honestly, I think I desperately needed it. For years, I felt like my nervous system was completely on overdrive. Everything just felt like go, go, go all the time. Work, money, social media, notifications, cars, people. Like, yes, I was making insane money, but I also felt like I was so out of touch with myself. I never had time to slow down, find hobbies I like, just really enjoy life, because I felt like I was always working and trying to make the most money. So eventually I realized I don't think I actually want more. I think I want less. I was feeling pretty burnt out, and around this time, there was also a lot of uncertainty surrounding TikTok. The program that I was in that made me all this money was starting to come to an end, and there was obviously scares about TikTok getting banned. So with that in mind, I had no idea what my income was going to look like in the future. So I started thinking, what would happen if all of this disappeared? Like, I have all this money and I have some material things, but like, instead of just going out and spending money without being smart with it, I decided to put this money into something that can't just disappear overnight. I wanted land. I wanted a home. And I just wanted a way of life that could make me more self-sufficient in case anything ever went south. I'd be able to take care of my own self. I'd have my own water supply. I'd have my own food. And I wouldn't have to rely on the system and the matrix and the government to help me with everything. And that's when the summer of 2024 came, and I found this gorgeous property on Zillow. The second I saw it, I immediately knew. My fiance literally jumped out of bed when I showed him and was like, yes, we're getting that one. They had mushroom hunting. There were 17 acres with a lake, 2 ponds, a creek, a barn, chicken coop. It even came with sheep and a livestock guardian dog. It had basically everything that I ever dreamed about having. So after careful consideration on what I should do with all of my savings, I just straight up bought it. I took the money I had spent the last couple of years saving and I bought this entire property in full. No mortgage, no monthly house payment, and I honestly remember being absolutely terrified because I had just taken basically everything that I had worked for and put it into this piece of land. But at the same time, I felt this huge sense of relief. For the first time, I actually owned something and I had somewhere that was mine, somewhere I could call home. And I wasn't constantly worried about rent going up or what was going to happen next, because I now own a piece of land that I can invest into and live off of completely. But at the same time, I had completely no idea what I was doing getting into this lifestyle. I had just bought a farm, but I had completely no idea how to run one. I didn't even know how to hold a chicken properly. I was learning everything as I went, so we got chickens, started learning more about gardening. I learned how to care for animals. I learned how to build things. I learned how to hatch and incubate chicks. I learned how to process birds, put food in my own freezer. There was definitely a lot of mistakes along the way, but that's kind of what I love about this lifestyle. You just learn, you mess up, you try again, and eventually you realize, holy crap, I actually know how to do this. But with this lifestyle, as glamorous as it sounds, it also comes with some really hard lessons. So about a year after we moved in here, we actually lost our livestock dog, Willow. It absolutely devastated me. It was honestly one of the hardest times in my life after she passed because I had formed such a deep bond with her. But losing Willow like that really made me realize that things are so real. This isn't just like a hobby. These are real animals, real responsibilities. And I think that was the moment where this lifestyle became so much more real to me. And I wanted to do something in her honor, so I built a whole farm stand by myself. And I named it after her. And that little farm stand ended up becoming something I never expected. I was able to take all this pain I had and turn it into purpose. I started getting into baking. I didn't even know how to bake, but I just started doing it and selling it at my farm stand. I picked up crochet because I couldn't sit still. I needed something to get me to calm myself. So I started crocheting and I developed a deep passion for it. I started selling some of that at my farm stand. I started sewing, gardening even more. And I even built a whole chicken coop completely by myself for my chickens. And then somewhere in between all of the mess, I realized that I had completely changed. I've been spending more time outside. I started noticing the different seasons. I became so much more patient, and I learned that I can build things with my own two hands. And that's what true self-sufficiency is. That's what homesteading's about, because I did not know I had this potential in me. And then that's when everything clicked for me. I just started feeling really connected to everything around me on my property, the land, the animals, nature. And after 2 years of living this lifestyle, I can honestly say that I have zero regrets. Do I still want to travel the world? Absolutely. It's still a huge dream of mine to travel and see different cultures. But overall, I'm so glad I got into homesteading, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And for anyone out there who wants to get into homesteading, just remember, you don't need 17 acres to be a homesteader. You don't need a barn. You don't need all these animals. Homesteading can look completely different to everybody. There's no box that you have to fit into. And honestly, for me, it's about becoming less dependent on the world and becoming more dependent on taking care of myself and my household and just truly being self-sufficient. And I do plan on getting horses, emus, donkeys, cows, all of the above. And my future goals is to turn this property into a full ranch agricultural business. I know it's going to take a lot of time, learning, mistakes, and planning, but this lifestyle is truly amazing. It takes hard work, consistency, dedication, but it's 1,000% worth it if you're looking to start. So that's basically my farm story, from quitting my job with barely any money in the bank to building a career online, saving money to buy my first home, and then I completely changed my life and became a first-generation homesteader. And if you're watching this because you're thinking about starting a homestead yourself, I hope you know that you don't have to have it all figured out. I definitely didn't, and I still don't. I'm still learning every single day, and I'm making this YouTube channel to take you guys along with me. So if you want to follow along as I figure all of this out, I'd love to have you here. Subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and let me know down below what you guys want to see next. I'll have all my other social medias linked down below if you want to follow along over there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.